Welcome into episode 99 of Chiefs
Mm,
Central.
Wayne Gretzky episode.
And big episode here. Got a lot of news to share regarding signings and players committing to colleges and the WHL draft, which was yesterday and today.
Yesterday. Yeah.
The Chiefs making some pretty solid selections, I think, looking over some of these guys' stats and just kind of what the management has to say about him. I think we have a pretty bright future coming here in Spokane.
This you're following it a lot closer than I am, but the thing that stood out to me a lot was the size of the guys we drafted.
Yeah, especially today.
Yep.
In the second through seventh rounds that we picked today. That the one that really struck me was we had the first selection in the second round, and we picked
Hmm.
that defenseman from OHA Edmonton. He's 6 foot, 183 or 185 pound defenseman. And so that's going to be a really good addition when he's going to continue to grow too. So it's going to be interesting to see him coming into training camp this year.
That's pretty big for 15 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into draft talk here in a little bit, but after our last episode, the very next day, we got some signing news, and then the next day after that, we got the news that Coco Armstrong will not be coming back to Spokane next year. He
Right?
goes to Cornell in the NCAA. So that's good for him for sure.
I think so.
Advancing his skills in hockey, and obviously Cornell's a smarty pants school.
Right.
So so
Way to be
congrats,
politically correct.
you know, congrats to Coco on that. The signing, I'm really excited about this signing. The Chiefs signed the 17th overall selection in the 2025 U.S. Prospects Draft, which is now defunct, by the way, because the U.S. and Canada players are all integrated into one draft as of this year.
I
But
did not know that.
so last year, the U.S. prospect draft, the Chiefs selected 17th overall Parker Colmer from Kansas. He's 16 and will be eligible to join the Chiefs full time next season. Had a really good season for Shattuck St. Mary's, which is that same school that Berkeley Catton was at during the pandemic year.
Really?
And I think it's in Minnesota. Let me double check on that just so I know because I would feel really stupid if it wasn't. But Shattuck St. Mary's. Um, yes, Minnesota. Okay. So go to school in Minnesota for Shattuck St. Mary's 15U AAA this year in 58 games, 42 goals, 75 assists for 117 points. That's going to be a huge addition next year. I was stoked when I saw that we got him to sign for this upcoming season and beyond. One of those guys that I think is really going to make an impact at the WHL level for the Chiefs next year as a 16-year-old. So I'm really excited about that signing.
That's a good one.
And then a couple days later, we get news the Chiefs sign a their second round selection from the 2025 U.S. prospect draft in a goaltender from where is he from? He does not say it on here on his page. Brody Johnson, goaltender who's also with Shattuck St. Mary's 16U AAA this past year, posting a 2.76 goals against and an 89% save percentage in 26 games with one shutout. 22-0-0 record
Wow.
for him on the year. So
Wow.
that 16U
At any
team,
level, that's awesome.
that 16U team is a freaking wagon, apparently.
Sounds like it.
So that's really interesting. It makes you wonder if that's going to be a backup next year potentially for Carter Essler.
Hmm.
Since we haven't heard anything officially, but I would like to assume there's like a 95% chance that we won't get Linus Fjord back.
Right.
So that'll be a good addition. He is 15, will be turning 16 in July, so he'll be eligible to play full time. I could see that being the move that the Chiefs take. And the
Hmm.
signings just continue. This is all pre-draft. about a week later, the Chiefs signing Brody Sunderland, who was I think he was our fourth round pick from the prospects draft last year, from Alberta, 15 years old, 6'3", 159-pound forward.
That's a big boy.
10 goals, 17 assists, for 27 points in 30 games with a U18 AAA team in Lloydminster, Alberta last year. So playing at a pretty high level for his age. He's a
Mm-hmm.
U15 guy playing U18 level. So and putting up some, nearly a point per game player for his team as well. So I think that that's going to be another really good addition that the Chiefs will have next year. Um, it's a name that stuck out to me as well when we drafted. And then this is the one that I think Chiefs fans should get excited for, because this is a player that the Chiefs had listed in the middle of last season. He's a U.S. player from Minnesota, 17 years old, so he's an '08 born. He's eligible for the the NHL entry draft next year. He's actually currently listed as a prospect that is eligible for that draft next year.
Wow.
Played in the USHL, so he's played junior for the last two seasons for the Tri-City Storm in the USHL. 4 goals and 17 assists in 56 games. Luka Jarvis. I think that this is a guy that has the junior experience that's going to be joining the Chiefs next season, and that's a guy that I'm really looking forward
And he's already
to seeing.
mature enough and got a little bit more age too. So yeah.
Yeah, he's not a small guy either. He's 6'1", 180 pounds. So I think that at least based off of everything pre-draft, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about the guys that we're going to have going into next year too, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously these guys that we had signed before the draft are all eligible to play full time next year. So we'll see these guys at training camp.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see kind of how they mesh together with the rest of the team and everything too. So yeah, I mean, a couple of huge signings. I got to be honest. That Parker Colmer one, that kind of caught me off guard because I had looked him up when we had drafted him last year, and obviously this was right at the beginning of the whole NCAA ruling changing and stuff too. So all
So
these
much
U.S.
on,
guys,
yeah, so much unknown at that point.
so all these U.S. guys, you are still kind of in the mindset of like, okay, they're probably going to try to go BCHL to NCAA.
Right.
And obviously the Chiefs did a good job of recruiting him and getting him to sign here, and I think he's going to be a huge addition. And then the same thing with this Luka Jarvis kid. I mean, looking at his track record with all the teams that he's played for, and at a young age putting up decent numbers and everything too. I'm really excited to watch him next year too. I think him and Gavin Burke are kind of on the same playing field for me.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. But what are your opinions on these signings? Like I wasn't sure about the goaltending one personally, because I had not even really heard this guy's name before, but pleasantly surprised to see that we signed another goaltender. It never hurts to have more goalies in the system.
Exactly. I'm just nice to see the Chiefs proactive before all this stuff kind of came down to, and not just waiting to see what happened
Right. Yeah,
and
yeah, definitely.
stuff. It's nice to see them signing some people in last week and a half or so, and not just letting the cards fall where they fall in terms of draft stuff too. So it's nice to see them actually securing some players that were on protected lists, if you want to call it, or whatever.
Right. No, absolutely. I
Because I
really
feel like
like that. Yeah.
this is very very much not a Chiefs year for doing that kind of stuff compared to last year, because obviously out of the playoffs, and easy to forget about hockey being a Spokane thing when your team's not involved in the playoffs.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
it's nice.
Well, and that's kind of a thing that we talked about in the last couple episodes before they're at the end of the season. I wouldn't mind seeing Bardsley going out and making these big kinds of moves in the off
Mm-hmm.
season. And granted, we're talking about, potentially making a move to get a big name player, but I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised with these, especially the Luka Jarvis and Parker Comer. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pleasantly surprised that we were able to go out and get them in such quick succession as well. And right before the WHL draft, and the Chiefs had two first round selections and then the very first selection in the second round too.
Right.
So and I think that the draft class was very, very deep this year too. A lot of skilled guys.
I feel
So
like this where Bardsley excels at this kind of stuff too. Where last year I think it was a little bit different, obviously when the season started, because we were hoping we get Berkeley back and stuff too. Now the team kind of knows where they stand. I feel like this is where Bardsley excels.
yeah, I think obviously last year, it was a disappointing season overall. I think this team had a lot more expectations, not only from the front office and the fans, but I think within themselves they had higher
Exactly.
expectations for themselves too, and it just didn't pan out that way. So I think Bardsley was taking that opportunity to be like, okay, let's jump on trying to recruit some of these guys and kind of almost like a little mini off-season rebuild
Mm-hmm.
in a way. Because I don't think it's going to be a situation where it's going to be a full rebuild over a time span of a couple of years. I just think that he was really good about getting it done
Yeah, I
overall in the
think there's some
off-season so
lessons to
far.
be learned from how it all played out because we didn't get the guys we thought we'd get back. Meaning mainly Catton and
Yeah.
you think about we didn't have Linus for a long time at the beginning of the year either.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah,
Instead of waiting to see kind of how things pan out, I feel like this team is going to go. Let's go make something happen.
exactly. I think being proactive is going to be the
Exactly.
move to go, the way to go
That's
with it.
that's the word need to use. Proactive. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, um, looking at the WHL prospects draft, it was yesterday and today. First
Mm-hmm.
round yesterday, Chiefs, like I was saying a little bit ago, had two first round selections. Before we get into that, though, some crazy moves at the very beginning of the draft.
In the league.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
first of all, what the hell is Wenatchee doing? Um,
we've questioned them for a couple years now on different things they do.
I had read a rumor on Twitter from John Keane about a week ago that said that there were pretty serious talks about Wenatchee going after Kelowna's first overall selection. And I think at least from how the whole first round played out, my guess on how those talks went down was they really wanted this Parker McMillan kid in
Mm-hmm.
Wenatchee. And so I think the first three or four, maybe even five players that were available at the start of the draft, I think any one of them could have gone first overall. And so I think Wenatchee was afraid that Kelowna was going to go out and get Parker McMillan, so they were going to try to make the push to get the first overall pick so they could select him. And then I'm sure that Kelowna was like, our guy's Madden Deneau, and
Mm-hmm.
who is up until a few months ago the consensus number one pick. So
Right.
I think that once they figured out that Kelowna was going to go that route, then they were like, okay, so let's do this instead and talk to I think it was Vancouver that they traded to get that second overall pick. But the thing that's confusing to me is they had the third overall selection and they gave up the third overall selection, a later second round pick this year, a first round pick next year, and then another like fourth or third in like 2030 or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
four draft picks for moving up one spot. So they must have really seen something in this Parker McMillan kid that they liked.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, again, I don't know what they're doing, but it could pan out for them. But then they weren't even done. They traded Victoria for the fifth overall selection as well and gave up four additional picks to Victoria in order to get that selection too.
How many picks did they have to give up? Holy cow!
Well, yeah, that's the thing is that I mean they I remember they really stacked up picks when they traded off Matt Savoy and
Mm-hmm. I
Connor
forgot about
Geeky.
that.
And so there was that because they had when they moved to Wenatchee, they had, you know, they were depleted of draft
Yeah,
picks.
they were.
And so they had to kind of refill that those holes somewhere, and they seem to make the moves to use those picks in this situation to get two of the top five players in this year's draft. So they have the way that I see it as a hockey fan is they're going to have another mediocre season this next year because these players won't be eligible to play full time,
Right.
obviously. So I'm going to say they're going to be pretty mediocre, but then I think they're going to have 1, 2, maybe a 3-year frame where they're going to be a team that we need to be on the lookout for. But then after that, who knows?
They definitely seem to have a vision of what they want to do and are not afraid to just be patient and let it play out. It's weird.
Yeah,
I'm was something we're not used to seeing from any team in the league, honestly.
yeah, absolutely. So that was pretty interesting to see in the first five picks of the draft, and then
Yeah,
a couple picks later, Seattle making a deal to trade Cameron Schmidt to the Victoria Royals in
that was
exchange for
crazy.
I think it was 3 or 4 draft picks in return as well. So Seattle ends up getting a pick, and I think they got I think it was the seventh overall selection. They selected a player that was originally going to be in Victoria's spot. So Victoria making some moves too. They're ending up with Cameron Schmidt. So that's another team that, the Chiefs are going to have to be on the lookout for here in the near future. And
Mm-hmm.
as soon as next season with, having that guy back and
Right.
everything too. So yeah, definitely some fireworks early on in the WHL draft.
It's nice to see though.
The 12th overall selection. I think the Chiefs get an absolute steal here at 12 overall because all the draft rankings that I had looked at prior to the draft, a lot of different people had this guy going fourth, fifth, sixth overall. The
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs get this guy at 12th. And once again, we're adding I think this is the fourth or fifth Brody that we're adding to the team.
Oh my goodness.
Brody Antignani, he's forward, 5'8", 143 pounds from Calgary. Just a hell of a season last year, U15 prep in Calgary. 30 games, he had 29 goals and 37 assists for 66 points. Um, Sounds like he's got a pretty elite shot and kind of got what like a little bit more of a finesse thing. Watching his highlights, it reminds me a little bit of Berkeley Catton a little bit. Um, I see a little bit of that in him for sure. He's got like that flashy kind of finesse. I saw
Mm-hmm.
highlights of him doing a couple between the legs goals and stuff like that too. So I think this is going to be a guy that we're really going to enjoy having. He was the captain of his team this past year as well. So it's going to be a fun guy to have here in the near future.
A smooth guy. We can call him syrupy. He's got
Exactly.
syrup.
There you go.
I like it.
And then a couple picks later, the Chiefs also get the 16th overall selection, the trade they got from the Mathis Preston trade this past year
Is that where he came from?
with Vancouver. Um, some good size on this man as well. The first U.S. born player to be taken in the draft this year from Richland Hills, Texas. Jack Arnold, 6'3", 170-pound forward with the Dallas Stars Elite 14U AAA this year. He had 32 goals and 28 assists in 51 games.
You
Um,
said 6'3"?
yeah, 6'3", 170 at 14.
Another big guy.
The Chiefs are definitely making a little bit of a different approach
Instead
to the
of
draft this year.
instead of small and speedy, maybe.
Small and speedy. Yeah, and there's a place for those guys, no doubt about it. But
Right.
there's still a place for these big guys in hockey. And I personally think that in the past couple of seasons that's the one thing that this team has lacked is
Especially
size
last
and
year. I
grit.
felt like we got pushed around a lot last year.
100%. So having these bigger guys that are a little bit more intimidating to play against, I think is going to be huge. And especially having a couple of them at the forward position,
And
I
maybe they
think
can
is
just hold their ground more than anything too, instead of being pushed around.
exactly. And it sounds like this guy could put the puck in the back of the net at a crazy rate too. So,
Nice.
um, yeah, a great season for him this past year as well. So that's another guy that hopefully we'll see at training camp here in a couple of months, and we'll get to watch him with the Chiefs here in the near future.
Very nice.
So that was the wrap for the first round for the Chiefs. We were just talking about a little bit ago the second round starting today. First selection in the second round from the Chiefs is Braden Lynham. He's plays for OHA Edmonton, as I was saying, 6 foot, 185 pounds from Sherwood Park, Alberta. Uh,
185. That's big for a 6 footer.
Here's the thing that really stood out to me, and I immediately thought of Braden Crampton's offensive abilities.
Hmm.
In 30 games this year for OHA Edmonton, 6 goals, 35 assists for 41 points. Everything I was reading about this guy, and I was actually there, obviously there was no second through 10 rounds coverage on Victory Plus today. So
Right.
I found a guy on YouTube who was doing like a live stream along
Oh,
with the
nice.
draft. So he was following along. So I was listening to that while I was working, and they were saying that this guy is like a power play specialist up on the at the blue line. So I
Hmm.
think this is going to be a guy that the Chiefs have been looking for the past couple of years to have that guy at the blue line.
Puck moving
Um,
defenseman.
Puck mover defenseman who is tall and he's lanky, and I
Right.
think that this is a good selection for the Chiefs. Actually, I've a couple of the draft rankings had this guy going middle first round as well.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think the Chiefs got a couple of steals in this first round. So really pleased with how our first three selections went down here. The last time the Chiefs had, the a late round pick in the first and then early round pick in the second, it's Carter Essler and then Caden Allen, which
Hmm.
both have turned out to be very good hockey players. Obviously, Caden Allen's
Right.
with the Saskatoon Blades now, but
Right.
Carter Essler is becoming our goalie of the future, and I expect him to have a huge season next year. So
Me too.
it's good to see us getting these guys in similar positions and hopefully that they can, take their skills to the WHL level in the near future. I'm really excited to see this kid at camp. And then the Chiefs had a couple of picks later on, fourth
Like the seventh
round.
round or fourth,
Well,
excuse me,
they had a fourth, two
and a
fourth
fifth.
rounds, I think, and then a fifth, sixth, and a seventh.
Nice.
Um,
And there's a
not,
eight. Is that right?
there's like 12 rounds of the
Is there?
draft, but a lot of teams just end up passing on their picks after like the eighth or ninth round.
Because they aren't thinking that far in advance.
Exactly. And so it's kind of a long shot. Like I saw a couple teams take picks in like the 10th through 12th rounds today, but it wasn't very
Right.
much.
Right.
Um this guy was our fourth round, 81st pick. Another defenseman, another big defenseman, 6'2", 181 pounds. Matthew Tranby, another American-born player. I think he's also from Minnesota. In this past year, he had in 54 games for a 15 UAA team, he had 30 goals and 51 assists in 54 games as a blue liner.
Wow.
Um, and then he played a 14U AAA team for 16 games, had 4 goals and 5 assists as well. So this is a guy that I think if he can carry those offensive numbers into the WHL level as a pretty big defenseman, he's going to have some success as well.
I would think so.
Um, I really like seeing the Chiefs going after these American-born players.
Me too.
I'm looking at how everything went down. I think we picked more Americans in this draft than we picked Canadians.
Why do you think that is? The Americans are higher in drafts now. Is it because of the college thing?
Yeah, it is. And the fact that now that option is available for these players, instead of going to play one level lower in the BCHL or whatever,
Right.
they can go to the highest level of major junior hockey, play there for a few seasons, and then take their talents to NCAA where they were planning to go in the first place. I think it's just better for their overall development, and those players are more willing to take on that task of making the jump to major junior before going to NCAA.
Right. It's an easier decision for them at the young age right
Yeah,
now.
for sure. And I think it's valuable experience too.
Yeah.
Because obviously the NCAA doesn't play nearly as many
As many
games.
games. Right.
And so you're going to major junior and you're getting the opportunity to play 68 games a year, which is closer to how an NHL schedule would be. And obviously all these kids are their goal is to make it to the NHL. So
Right.
it gives them that sort of side of things, and then they go play older players in the NCAA after that. So I think that a lot of these kids are more willing to sign, and that's kind of why they condensed the US draft and the prospects draft into one this year, is because I think
Gotcha.
that the WHL realized that. So yeah, here's another Matthew Tranby we were talking about, and then the Chiefs had another pick in the fourth round, 3 picks later, 84th overall. I'm also very excited about this kid. I think he should have gone way higher in this draft. I heard his name a lot leading up to it, and I was shocked when I saw that he was still available in the fourth round. A 5'8", 132-pound forward from Mankato, Minnesota. Owen Moulton. He also plays for Shattuck St. Mary's 14U AAA, is same as the Parker
We,
Colmer, I
I was gonna
believe.
say we must have had scouts watching that team, huh?
Yeah, and so he in this past season had for their 14U AAA team. Ready to hear these stats because this blew my mind when I saw it.
Yep.
In 58 games for Shattuck St. Mary's 14U AAA this year, he had 48 goals,
Oh my goodness.
87 assists
87 apples.
for 135 points
That's crazy.
and and 86 penalty minutes. So he's got some grit to
Some
him.
grit.
Um, yeah, like I said, I don't understand how this guy went so high. I'm assuming that he must have had some serious conversations with the Chiefs too. Maybe some other teams he wasn't willing to go to. Maybe he was unsure about going to the WHL. But I think that the fact that the Chiefs took this player, even with a fourth round pick, it's still like a decently high pick. A lot of
It
players
is.
end up having solid success getting
Mm-hmm.
drafted in the fourth round. I think that if the Chiefs can sign this guy, I will be beyond thrilled because those offensive numbers are nuts.
Well, if he's friends with anybody else that we drafted higher too,
Yeah, and you know what? That could be another factor for
yeah,
sure. Um, yeah. So, I mean, those numbers just are
that's
mind-blowing to
crazy.
me.
At
So
any
I'm,
level.
yeah, so the upcoming season, I'm sure he'll stick with Shattuck St. Mary's at they're probably their 15U or maybe even their 16U team. Um, but yeah, I mean, really pleased with that pick. Can't be too upset about those offensive numbers.
No, that's
130
crazy.
something points, and yeah, that's crazy. Um, Sticking with the US. The Chiefs selected Donovan Quinn, a 5'7", 137-pound forward. Sixth overall, 100 or sixth round, 119th overall. He is
It,
from Minnesota.
it's so crazy to have you name up these last couple guys weighing in at 130 pounds.
I know some of these kids
That
are tiny, man.
that's very tiny.
Played at the U.S.
That
High
was you
School
when you
League,
were 10.
right? I know. Played the U.S. High School League in Minnesota this year for Holy Family Catholic in 26 games, 14 goals and 14 assists for 28 points. So a solid season for him to get noticed by the Chiefs. And then our last pick of the day in the seventh round, playing in the CSSHL for Burnaby U15, a Canadian-born goaltender, Jordan Bigelow. So once again, adding more goalies to the system in 15 games this year. He had a 10-2-2 record with 257 goals against and a 90.4 save percentage. So some solid numbers for him there as well. And then that honestly wraps up the Chiefs WHL draft for this year. But I think the Chiefs made a great haul, and having those two first round picks as well as the early second round pick
Mm-hmm.
is really going to pay off for these guys. And then, like I was just saying, like that Owen Moulton, if they can get him to sign, I think that's a mad steal that the Chiefs got him at such a high pick or a low
Right.
pick rather.
Right.
So.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out because, like we initially talked about when we started the pod tonight, was a lot of unknowns going into things and what direction the team was going to go. Because on what we did last year, waiting to see if we still kept Berkeley and stuff too. It's nice to see them get, like you said, proactive.
Right,
I'm
for
enjoying
sure.
seeing that. I like seeing how this management team works for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I do too. Watching the draft, they had after our first round selections, they had our director of scouting, the George Ross, on, and just kind of hearing him talk about what they saw in Antignani and Jack Arnold. It all sounds really positive, and it sounds like that they've been in contact with both these guys, and they're looking to get them signed soon. And
Nice.
so that'll be great. Overall, though, I want your take on some of these selections that we have. Like, Um, taking majority forwards, taking a couple of bigger defensemen, and then a late
A
goaltender as
little
well.
bit of a mix of what the team is likely going to need. I like that we're not settling more, on just offense or just defense. Last year we saw we had some holes in the defense and had to shore that up. I feel like they're very well prepared for the future now. Almost like an expansion type team. Like, okay, we have to start here
Yeah,
type thing.
exactly.
Yeah, I like it. I'm encouraged.
Yeah, me too. And like I said earlier, I think it's great to be proactive as we have been prior to the
Right.
draft, and then obviously having a very active draft as well. Chiefs did make a couple of draft pick trades midway through the draft, but it was just like, picks here and there. They had another selection, I think, in late in the fifth round. They ended up trading off for a fourth round pick in a couple of years,
Yeah.
and
Well,
stuff like
didn't
that
they
too.
trade like a fifth rounder for a fourth and a sixth or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, you know what? Now that I'm kind of piecing two and two together here, I had notifications on for the Chiefs Twitter account today, and
Nice.
so I was looking at that and saw that they had actually traded later pick up to get the additional fourth round pick to select Owen Moulton. So that's another reason that makes me think that they had him specifically on their radar, that they
Some
were
eyes on him already.
they were like, okay, we need to snatch this guy up before somebody else does. And
Gotcha.
so I'm hoping that with that being the case, that they're able to get this guy to sign a contract, whether it's this year or next year, and obviously we'll see him full time, not this year, but
The
potentially
next
the
year.
year after if
Right.
he signs. So yeah, good looking out there because I actually had forgotten about that.
Yeah. Good. Oh, I'm excited. It like I told you before we got on tonight, it's nice to get excited about something that's a couple months away. And we've been out of the hockey talk for a while now since our first round exit. So it's nice to have something exciting to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Um, and then in addition to that, some other draft notes that just I thought was kind of cool that we could throw in. Do you remember, I was like 2014? No. Yeah, maybe 2014, 2015. The NHL All-Star game and the skills competition. They had the breakaway challenge and they
Mm-hmm.
had Brent Burns and Joe Pavelski bring out their kids to do like a 2-on-0 against one of the goalies right there. And then Brent Burns' kid ran in front of the glass, dropped his gloves, and started dancing. He's like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
He was drafted in the sixth round by the Prince George Cougars in the draft
Seriously?
today. Yes, his son Jagger. So I thought that was pretty cool to
That
see.
is cool.
And then another one that I saw just a little bit ago that I actually wrote down in my notes because this has some ties to Spokane too. In the fifth round, Wenatchee selects Aiden Grabner, who
No
is
way.
Michael Grabner's son.
No way. Wenatchee took him?
Wenatchee took him.
Interesting.
So I think that was pretty cool too. And I mean, I saw a picture of him. He definitely looks like Grabs. So I thought that was a pretty interesting since it's kind of tied into Spokane with Michael Grabner. So
That is crazy. I
um,
wonder if the family lives up in Vancouver from when he played up there or something.
no, I think they're in Arizona
Are
still
they
from when he played down there
from when he
because
played down there?
Aiden was born in Arizona. So
Interesting.
and he had been playing down in Arizona as well. So I thought that was a pretty cool little tidbit too.
That's a nice little tie to Spokane. Exactly.
Pretty interesting seeing these guys that I grew up watching, not only in the NHL but the WHL too, having their
Mm-hmm.
kids get drafted and be gonna be in the yeah, it makes me feel old as
I
shit,
was going to
man.
say, does that make you feel old yet?
Yeah, oh shit. Yeah, absolutely. Like,
It seems like that was just yesterday.
doesn't it though?
It does.
But yeah, no, I thought that was kind of cool. And then yeah, when I read about Jagger Burns going to Prince George, I thought that was
That's
pretty
great.
cool too.
Yeah, you think about Burns. I mean, no, he's not super old, but it
No,
seems like that guy could be 50.
he's
Like he,
40.
it seems like he could be my age almost, but he's not quite that old. Yeah.
He's 40 and he's still playing in the Stanley Cup playoffs right now. And I was actually listening to, I don't remember where, I think it was on the ESPN coverage of the Colorado game the other night. They were saying that they were talking to Brent Burns and said he's still got like another 2 or 3 years left in him. Like he's still feeling good.
Oh
And
wow,
I think that's awesome. I mean, I don't know how you can hate Brent Burns, to be
you can't
honest,
you
but
can't.
um, so I thought that was pretty cool too. It'd be pretty cool to have,
Uh,
being in the dub and having your dad still playing in the
Right?
NHL at the
You
same
know,
time.
the only way I could hate him is if he went to like Toronto or something like that.
Yeah. I guess that's another thing we could chat about here before we wrap up too, the NHL draft lottery.
That was crazy.
Uh, the one team that I did not want to get it, of course, in the one year they don't make the playoffs,
Right.
the league says, "Here you
Here
go.
you go. Here's a
Let,
gift for you.
let me put your dick in my mouth and you can have Gavin McKenna." I mean, I know it's random, but like there's so many teams that deserve to have a generational star.
We were just talking about one too. We were just talking about Vancouver.
Yeah.
They get ripped out of the draft every year.
Yeah, they had the best odds to get it. Obviously
Right.
didn't happen. Chicago had second best odds. They dropped to fourth. Seattle stayed right around where they were projected at
Sixth or
seventh.
seventh, yeah.
I would have loved to see Seattle get that first pick.
Wouldn't that have been nice?
Could you imagine Berkeley and Gavin together?
I'd like to think I could.
And having a generational guy like that leading your franchise, but
I
I
feel
like
like they deserve that after the um just how much of a aside from a few individuals, Berkeley being one of them, how they had a little bit of a bust start to their franchise.
Yeah, for sure. I think it obviously didn't play out how everybody thought it would up in
No,
Seattle, but and then Chicago too, I was personally hoping that if not Seattle would go to Chicago. I know a lot of people are like, fuck you, you got Bedard, but like, Toronto, fuck you, you got Austin Matthews, and
exactly.
that scumbag fan base is just gonna drive Gavin McKenna out of town in 3 years, just like they're gonna drive Austin Matthews out
I was
anytime
going to
too.
say, just makes me think that Matthews sticks around, or you think he decides he still would rather go somewhere else?
I honestly don't. If Toronto has another shitty year this year,
Well,
I don't see it.
I think given one more year, yes, you don't think he wants to move before then?
No, but it just obviously I'm just being a conspiracy theorist here, but it just seems a little bit fishy that they hire a controversial general manager like
Nobody
John
likes him.
Chayka.
I'm learning that the
Well,
last couple of
he's
days.
part of the reason why the Coyotes got ruined.
Exactly.
And he did you see that interview that he did with some of the press? And they were saying, I was talking to 20 scouts or
And 19
hockey,
of them,
whatever, whatever. He's like 19 have said this is terrible and you have no idea
right,
what you're doing.
right.
And the other one said, good. But the majority there kind of speaks volumes, first of all. And
Seems
then
like
they
it.
go out and a couple days later get the first overall selection. It just seems fishy.
Fishy. Yeah.
Um,
Definitely a suspect.
but Gavin McKenna is one of those players that is going to make a huge impact in the NHL for a long time. And I'm
And not just in how we might end up playing too, but just in his name and expectations too.
for sure. And I feel like, we watched that documentary on him on
Mm-hmm.
TNT the other night after the game. It was really, really well done, and I
It
really enjoyed
was.
watching it of his time at Penn State and the criticism that he had faced from different places and different people at Penn
Mm-hmm.
State.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't necessarily seem like it bothered him too much, but based on his, play in the first half of the season specifically, I think it really rattled him a little bit. And then
Me too.
I truly do believe that his saving grace to maintain that number one overall selection was the
World
whole
Juniors.
the whole fight thing that he got into at that
Yeah.
bar.
After that, yeah.
I really think that's where his season turned around, and
Me
he
too.
really was like, you know what? I don't think
I feel like he answered his own inner critic with that.
exactly. He's like, you
Yeah.
guys can't. I can't let you get into my head. However, the Toronto Maple Leafs fan base is a completely different animal. They're just the biggest bunch of scumbag fans in the National Hockey League, and I absolutely can see them running him out of town in a couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
personally.
Mm-hmm.
I hope for his sake that he's able to kind of get through that mentally and not
Right.
let it bother him.
Right.
But he seems like a pretty, strong-willed kid. So I
If
wouldn't be
anybody can
shocked
do
if
it,
that
maybe
was
it's
the
him.
case. But
Yeah.
exactly. But I still do not want to see the Toronto Maple Leafs have any success because
Me
that
either.
scumbag franchise deserves to suffer eternally.
I agree. I agree.
But anyway, rant over. You got anything else to add before we wrap it up?
I do not.
All
Just
right,
feels weird talking about the Chiefs' future in early May, and
for sure.
we're not even playing. I like it.
Who you got winning the WHL championship?
You know, I think this might finally be Everett's year.
I agree.
I
I
do.
don't
We
think
talked about
anybody
that a
can
little bit.
stop them.
I don't
I
either.
really don't.
For a while there, it separated out. I thought maybe some of the East was going to become a favorite for me, but no, it's Everett's year in my opinion.
It is. Again, I don't think anybody's gonna stop them this year. They got a whole new coach this year, and bringing in these different guys, and they've had hot goaltending all year and has stayed consistent throughout the playoffs. And
And the fact that they're not done in the first round like all every other years recently. I feel
I
like it's just finally their time.
I think the big thing for Everett mentally at least was they've been matched up with Portland in the playoffs the past few seasons, and they just could not get over the hump of beating Portland in
Mm-hmm.
the playoffs. They swept them in the first round easily, winning each game by multiple goals. And I think ever since then, they've just become a completely different animal. And I don't think even Prince Albert, who is a great team
They
itself,
are.
is going to be able to stop them this year.
What do you think Landon DuPont is doing?
What do you
Do you
mean?
think like do you think he ends up um sticking around? Is he going to college? I haven't heard.
Well, you got to remember he's just this is his 16-year-old
He's only
season.
16.
It's his second season, but he was
That's
the
right.
exceptional status, so he
That's
played a
right. I
full
forgot
year as a
about that.
15. So he's got last
He's
year, this year, and then he's got next year before
he's
he's
still got
drafted.
he doesn't have to worry about that for a while yet.
Right. So
I knew he was young, but I guess I didn't really dawn on me. I couldn't remember he was that young.
yeah, so I think I believe I don't know for sure, but I think he's a late birthday too. So I don't know necessarily. I think next year is his draft year, actually, now that I think
How
about
much
it.
more could that develop before the draft?
For sure. But he's another one of those guys just like Gavin McKenna,
Right.
where I definitely see some colleges going, "Hey, we can throw you some NIL money
Exactly.
and, come play for us for a year before you go to the NHL," because that's inevitably where he's going to end up.
Yeah.
But I look for him to have a lot of eyes on him in this championship series to see how he can perform under the lights, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't have any doubt that he'll be more than capable of doing it because I mean
Me either. I
he's
know who I'm going to be rooting for in the WHL championship.
yeah, I'm pulling for Everett for sure.
Me too.
I'd love to see the cup come back to the U.S. I still don't think a team has won. I think Portland was the last U.S. team to win the WHL championship, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't think
Wasn't
any
that like the
team.
COVID year?
No, it was
No.
way before then. It was
It
like
was way before then.
2013, I think. But this was the year they got beat in the Memorial Cup by McKinnon and Halifax. Um, but uh, but yeah, really excited to start watching that series. I think that kicks off this weekend.
On Friday, I think.
Yeah, so that'll be fun to watch for sure, and
It
we'll
will be.
get to watch some high-end junior hockey here, and then the CHL import draft is early June as well,
Is
so we'll
it?
have that to look forward to. That'll probably be when our next episode will be. This is episode 99, so
We got to do
episode
something for 100.
episode 100 we're gonna make it special. So if we
Could be a
can't
while.
if we can't get certain things kind of figured out and leveled out beforehand before the CHL import draft, expect our episode to be maybe a little bit afterwards. But I believe the Chiefs are going to have 3 full picks this year in the CHL import draft too. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with that.
Agreed.
But that's all I really got for you, Cappy.
Go Chiefs, go.
Go Chiefs, go.